watch this video up here. After we are done, I'll give my opinion on what I think about the video. So, because there are a lot of things that I disagree with, so I'll be jotting them down so that we talk about them one after the other. So let's go.
How could you live and have no story to tell? What is a man if not a vessel of agony wrapped in dreams? We are all crucified between the poles of what we are and what we might have been. I have walked through the catacombs of my soul and found only echoes. Yet even an echo is a voice trying to return. I buried my anguish like a coward, thinking that silence was strength. But silence is a tomb, and I was its inhabitant. Man only likes to count his troubles, I once wrote. But he does not count his joys. And still each wound becomes scripture, each sorrow a stanza. Life is not lived, it is suffered, carved like stone by invisible hands. The heart is a prison where God and the devil play chess, and I, fool that I am, watch, believing the pieces are free. If you do not tell your story, you do not exist. But what story is there? Only this. I fell, I loved, I died.
Alright, this poem was written by a Russian novelist, stroke writer. His name is Fyodor Dostoyevsky. Alright, I'll put the name up here so that because it's a Russian name, so I'll put it up here. So we call him an existential philosopher because of the nature of his novels and his write-ups. So, and the topic that he talked about is if suffering is what makes us strong. That was the topic that he was talking about. In fact, he gave a powerful poem and emphasized on how suffering can help us to build our wisdom and can also help us to be deeper in what we are or in whom we are. It makes us to, it gives this emotional connection to what suffering can do. And it's kind of like imbibed more on the benefit of suffering as humans. So there are a lot of things that about 5 points or 4 points that I have here that I disagree with. So the first point that I disagree with is suffering does not automatically create wisdom. That's the first thing, because in his video here, he emphasized on how suffering can create wisdom. So I disagree with that. There are two persons can have similar situations, can have similar cases. And then when they come out from that pain or from that suffering, one can decide to be much more compassionate and much more, calm and humble, and will learn from that particular situation that happens. While the other person can come out being depressed, being sad, and not being the person he or she was before he or she started suffering or went into pain. Now that's the first one. So let's look at the second one. Next point that he made was the fact that he said that silence is always strength. So he believes, or in his write-up, he believes that silence is strength, or he associates silence with strength. But I disagree with that, because when you look at silence is not always strength. Now, silence can actually be wisdom. Silence can also be compromise. Silence can be fear, and as well, that silence can also be self-control. Understand? So, at what point is silence strength, and at what point is silence a surrender? There are sometimes that we do not need to keep quiet in a particular stuff or in a particular situation. There are sometimes that we are meant to speak up. There are sometimes that we are meant to say something. And if we do not say something at that particular time, if we remain silent at that particular time, of course, it is weakness. So I think his idea there, I do not agree with that. The third point that I want to consider is the fact that in his video here, or in his write-up, he made mention as if that suffering is the entirety of humanity. Like, he gives a very dark picture of suffering as the center of human nature. So, and I disagree with that. So does human suffer? Yes. But is it the core center of humanity? No. Because as humans, of course, we experience friendship, we experience love, we experience creativity, we experience curiosity, we experience a lot of, we experience satisfaction, a lot of even dissatisfaction as well. So humans are not, instruments of suffering. We are not mere instruments of suffering. But do we suffer? Yes, at some point in time, but we are not instruments of suffering. Now, the last but not the least point I want to buttress is in his video here, on his write-up, he he gives the idea as if that pain automatically gives life a meaning. So I disagree with that as well. Pain does not automatically give life a meaning. There are a lot of things that give life a meaning. But we are not actually disputing the fact that pain can reshape the human existence. It can reshape the mindset, the character in a positive way. But that is not the core center of humanity. So, and as well, pain does not automatically give life its true meaning. True meaning imbibes in love, in creativity, in friendship, in emotions, in a whole lot of positivity that surrounds humanity, and not this. So what else do you disagree with in the video? Drop it in the comment section. Let us interact. And please do not forget to follow, and let's keep this page going.